Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we've got this is not a top 10, and it's going to be on the note of Cypriol, or also known as Nagarmotha. Now, Cypriol in perfumery is usually associated with Middle Eastern fragrances. And the reason is that many people, especially folks that haven't yet had the chance to try real oud, they associate the smell of Cypriol with oud because it smells very exotic, and it's almost become synonymous with Middle Eastern fragrances. As you'll see in this list, many fragrances that are either from Middle Eastern houses or they're from French houses trying to make a Middle Eastern fragrance, if you will. And I've got some samples I plan on doing early impressions on. I haven't talked about. I have some that I have some full bottles, and I have a surprise unboxing. It's not really an unboxing. It's the decants that I bought from Moudasir that he didn't include in the package that he shipped me. So some of these are actually new, which normally on my channel you don't get new stuff, although lately I have been talking about a lot of new stuff. So here we go. I think you guys are going to be really interested in what's in here because there's some very hyped fragrances in here. Some of the most hyped of the year, you could say. Let me make sure not to cut my computer screen again. And I know you guys are always interested in hearing the no hype review, or no hype talk, if you will. Okay, so when you buy decants from Moudasir, by the way, this is how they come. They come wrapped very well. And someone asked me, hey, you mentioned the name Moudasir. How do I reach him? I said, you reach him on base notes. And then he got back to me and said, thank you so much for giving me his name. I was able to reach out to him and find a fragrance I've been hunting for years. And he has quite the collection. I think he has 1,300 fragrances or something crazy. So if you're looking for something hard to find, Moudasir is one of the guys that I really trust. I know I talk about Amouage a lot from Enchanté, and he is a fantastic source, but one person can't have everything. So it's great to have someone else you can kind of lean on. And Moudasir is kind of my, he's my base notes guy, if you will. So I bought 3. One of them I'm going to save for this video because it actually has the note of Cypriol in it. And so I'm going to put that over there, but I'm going to show you these 2 decants. So the first one is Amouage Royal Tobacco. So here you go. The much hyped Royal Tobacco, Opus 14, what is that? Where's the number? Yes, Opus 14. And I got a 5 ml decant. And so let me just take this off. I don't have time to mess with this. Some people, you know, they put this plumber's tape or whatever you want to call it around it so that it doesn't evaporate. I don't have time for that. You know, I will make sure that the decant is nice and tight, but I won't put tape on and take it off. And, you know, if you really wanted to be meticulous with your collection, you could. But these decants that he uses are very good quality, as you can see from the, and the sprayers are amazing. The inside is glass, not plastic, because sometimes plastic can actually erode the quality of the fragrance. And so Opus 14 Royal Tobacco is supposed to be one of the most hyped fragrances of the year. So it came out like a month or 2 ago. It's brand spanking new. It's spicy and smoky. Cécile Zarokian worked on it, and it's supposed to be like frankincense oil, LME, tobacco absolute, and a lot of resins. And it's actually compared, many people compare it to a fragrance that was actually sent to me very kindly by one of you. Very few people have sent me full bottles so far. And this was included in a purchase that I made. I bought Boss Spirit from a friend. I don't remember if he wanted me to tell who it was, so I'll keep his name out of it. But he said, hey mate, I've got this bottle and I don't wear it very much. It's called Iron Duke from the House of Beaufort. And he said, would you like it? I said, sure, absolutely, because I love challenging fragrances. And this is one such fragrance. And I wore it to bed the other night, and I wrote him back, and I said, I absolutely love it. And he said, from listening to your, talk, from you talk and what you like, I thought you would. So I absolutely love this. So, but I do want to talk about Royal Tobacco with you guys on the channel. So there you have it. Amouage Royal Tobacco is one. Another one that's extremely hyped is a Guerlain. And it's called Oud Kohl, Kohl. So there's 3 fragrances, and I got a full 10 ml. You can't see it because it's basically clear, but it's a full 10 ml decant this time. And Oud Kohl is created by Thierry Vassar. Now, this is a trio of oud fragrances that Guerlain put out, and it's very interesting, listening to... I watched a video today from Papa Persolays, and he did all 3, basically a full length, love at first scent. If you watch Persolays, he's one of my favorites. He's absolutely amazing on camera. He's very professional and very articulate, and he really knows his stuff. Brands will send him bottles for a review, and Guerlain sent him 3. One was Naked Oud, or Oud Nude. Sorry, Oud Nude was one. Another was Cherry Oud, which those are the 2 I'm definitely not interested in. Those 2 are made by Delphine Jelk. This one's made by Thierry Vassar. It's supposed to be the darker version of the trio, and that's why I'm interested in it. And Moudasir, who obviously smelled it, he got a bottle, wrote me back and said that he did think this was a good release. It's supposed to be smoky and leathery with oud and leathery notes, oak moss, stuff like that. So I'm very excited to wear Oud Kohl and talk about it. Maybe I'll wear one of these as my scent of the day tomorrow. And so the final one we will do we'll make it an official entry into the Cypriol or Nagarmotha. This is not a top 10, and it is Amouage Opus 13, and this is called Silver Oud. And Silver Oud was also created by Cécile Zerokian, so she created both Opus 13 and Opus 14 for the brand. And Silver Oud is kind of like this Fragcom darling, and that scares me. It really scares me when the majority of Fragcom likes a fragrance. So my alarm bells are already up about Silver Oud. I got a 5 ml decant here. And this does use the note of Cypriol. And if you've never smelled Cypriol, or if you don't know what it smells like, it can smell like a lot of things. But the way that it's a very hard note to describe too, because it is extremely loud. And if you've smelled many Middle Eastern fragrances, odds are you've smelled Cypriol. You may not just realize it. It can come off as kind of very earthy. I could see people maybe even mistaking it for patchouli. It's very earthy and woody, and smoky, and almost with leathery touches. And the reason that I think many people associate it with Middle Eastern fragrances is it can come across as very scratchy, especially if it's really overdosed in a fragrance, which Middle Eastern fragrances tend to do, to give it that, sharp Middle Eastern vibe, that real punch in the face that, you expect from a Middle Eastern house, right? When you buy some of these Middle Eastern fragrances, they're known for their longevity, the beast mode status, and Cypriol is one of the main notes that that can assist with that. It can also bring this warmth to a fragrance, this natural warmth. I actually love the note of Cypriol. I'm a big fan, and this is not ranked, by the way, but I usually save my favorite fragrance for the end. And the last 2 really are 2 of my favorite Cypriol fragrances. But the rest of the list is not ranked. But Silver Oud is the final fragrance that I got from Moudasir, and it will officially make this list. So before we move on, though, I do want to do scent of the day. I completely forgot. Let me give myself a fresh spray. I am loving, and I mean loving, this stuff. So if you watched my haul, my Moudasir haul, this was one of the perfumes that was in that haul. And my God, I wore it to work today. dressed like this. I actually got a compliment. One of my old buddies came up to me and said, "Man, you smell amazing." I said, "You want to give me a hug?" He's like, absolutely, but that smell would be all over me." He was just really kind of giving me a hard time, but also saying, "Damn, you smell good." And I usually don't, you know, those kind of things don't matter to me, but it's very rare. Especially for a vintage fragrance like this, you usually don't get, you might get like kind of a crazy cross-eyed look, but this is beautiful. It's Pascal Morabito is the name, and it's OR Black. And this is created by the great, okay, Jean-Louis Suizac, the absolute master. He created some of my favorite fragrances of all time. Fahrenheit, Opium, Bel Ami, and OR Black. When I realized the error in my ways that he had created a scent that was targeted masculine in the early 80s. This came out in 81 according to Parfumo, 82 according to Base Notes. I was like, I have to get it. And man, I'm glad I did. Now, the bottle I have is 20 or 25 years old. It has a short ingredient list. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. There it is. Contains alcohol, fragrance, and 39-C. So this is 25 years old. They reformulated it in 2014, I believe. The original bottle, it's interesting because some people say the original bottle had a built-in sprayer, but I did some research and the original bottle actually looked like this, with the screws. And sorry for the fingerprints, but I don't know if I have a rag here. Oh, let's see, I do. So basically, the original bottle had these screws here because he was famous for making jewelry that was very strange, like, you know, a metal pipe and then a diamond in the middle of the metal pipe or stuff like that with screws. And so this is to kind of honor his perfume or his jewelry making skills, the kind of jewelry he liked to make. And then, so this bottle originally was too expensive to make. And so it was originally metal, obviously, not plastic. So they went away from it. They went to the built-in sprayer. The black, it's just a black, it looks like a Jacques Bogart bottle. And then they went back to something that looks like this. But if you look at the 2014 version, the name is in, it's not in cursive like this. It's in just print. So that might be a way for you to kind of tell the difference. But yes, I'm very, and the cap I think is black, not silver. But I am in love with this fragrance. I wore it all day today. It's got leather in the top notes, which is very rare. Usually leather is more of a base note, but it's like peppery leather with tons of sage. It feels like there's like sage and some sort of greenness, maybe artemisia, wormwood, you know, something along those lines, with one of the most beautiful labdanum notes I've ever smelled. The labdanum in Pascal Morabito OR Black is stunning. You know, if you like stuff like Sahara Noir by Tom Ford, Everlasting by the Zoo, those kind of labdanum fragrances, like the best of the best labdanum fragrances, this is in there. I would consider it probably more of a Chiffre, but it does feel like it has some fougere-like elements. Fougères were very popular in the 80s for men. And so this has vetiver, musk, and a bunch of oak moss in the base with this ambery touch, and that cistus labdanum mixes with the amber and the leather. My God, I was just, I was loving this today and am loving it. What a scent. So glad I took the plunge and bought this. So glad. So that's a big winner already for me. Okay, let's get started on this list because we have a lot. So first, let's do another Amouage. So I mentioned Opus 13, which is Silver Oud with Cypriol. And we're going to go all the way back in time to Opus 6. And Opus 6, I've got these little samples. I have 3 of them. I wore one basically completely. And so I've got 2 more to work on. But I'm going to give it some more wears because I want to do a full review on this because it's worthy of a full review. In fact, it's full bottle worthy. You can see I've killed this entire... it's It's really, really good. Frankincense with pepper, bay leaf, silk vine, Nagarmotha oil, patchouli, ambranum, gum rock rose, which is basically Cistus labdanum, a specific type of Cistus labdanum, with sandalwood and Z11. And this is a, you know, if you want a, so I'm going to tell you the ones to really to put a star next to if you really want to experience Cypriol oil. Opus 6 is one. This is a fantastic, you know, case study. This is a fantastic fragrance if you want to put a star next to really study Nagarmotha or Cypriol, if you will. And apparently the other one is this silver oud, according to people in Fragcom I trust. I have not smelled this yet. I've not worn it yet, but that's the rumor. So 2 Amouages from the Opus collection. Yeah, from the library collection, if you will. And they're what they consider their more artistic collection. Okay, so next on the list, we're going to go to the house of Diptyque. There's actually a couple Diptyques on this list, which kind of surprised me. But one of them, of course, is an oud creation, and it's called Oud Palao. So Oud Palao came out in 2015. Fabrice Pellegan is the creator, and I wore this recently and talked about it, and I really did enjoy it. It is oud, Laotian oud, with Bulgarian rose. It's a rose oud, but it's a very good rose oud. It's probably one of the best, you know, designer rose ouds, if you will. If you don't want to go spend big money on a, you know, a real oud scent from someone like Russian Atom, Areej Doré, or Bortnikov, if you want to spend maybe a third of what they're asking for their fragrances, but still get a good oud fragrance, Oud Palao is probably what I would recommend. It's a good representation of what you get in real oud. I don't know if there's real oud in here, but it feels like there is, and it's mixed with Somalian frankincense, and that frankincense really jumps off your skin. People will smell the frankincense. It's a beautiful creation. I mean, I'm a big fan. I think it's probably full bottle worthy, although I don't think I will get a full bottle, just because this is enough for me to talk about it and do a full video. And if I'm gonna spend 150 on a Diptyque, I'd rather spend 250, 350 and get a real Areej Doré or something like that. And it was interesting because just going back to these new Amouages, Amouage Royalty, Guerlains, these new Guerlains that were being highlighted today on Persile's stream. You know, he was saying, hey, what do you guys think of it? Because it's a live stream. And a couple people on there were saying, we're not interested in this. We don't like the path Guerlains going down. And he was like, yeah, I understand the oud thing is kind of overdone, but we should still give it a chance. And someone, it could have even been Natalia. I don't know if it's the same Natalia as who comments on my videos, but she was like, if I'm going to give Guerlain $400 for 100 mils, and I think that's what they're asking, if I'm not mistaken. It could be 200 mils, I'm not sure, but I think they're like $400. She was like, I'd rather give my hard-earned money to Russian Atom and Areej Doré and get real oud. And I was like, you are spot on, 100% spot on, because stuff like this is so much better oud than what you're going to get from a Guerlain. You know what I mean? The fact that you're getting real oud here, and you can just, I mean, there's no hiding the quality differences miles apart. And I haven't smelled Oud Cole yet, but I'm guessing if it's like some of the other ouds that I've smelled, Guerlains that use oud, Santal Royale, that kind of thing from Guerlain, that spending your money with Russian Atom or Bortnikov or something like that is probably the better value for your dollar. Okay. Another Cypriol fragrance is Zerjoff Gao. Now, I did an entire video on this. You can go watch it if you'd like. But basically, Gao is a ton of saffron. Persian, Spanish saffron with Nagarmotha. And again, It's a house, this came out in 2012, this is a decade ago, but it's a house putting forward an oud fragrance and using Cypriol, Nagarmotha, to give the impression of oud. Now here, there may be real oud. I don't know. If the house says it's real, it's real. Again, I'm not trying to get sued here, but we'll just take their word for it. But it is Thai oud and Laotian oud is what they say. And I did enjoy this. I said I wouldn't get a bottle, but you know what? If someone gave me a bottle or if the brand sent me a bottle, I would wear it. I wouldn't spend my money on it. And that's a good sign, by the way. If you're following a reviewer, if they get all these free bottles and stuff, and, you know, they say, yeah, it's great, sure, that's one thing. But if you actually see a reviewer spend their own hard-earned money on a fragrance, you know that they like it. That's a real sign. Follow what they do, not what they say kind of thing. And so with this, this is another one kind of like Oud Palao, where yes, it's a good Western oud. There very well may be real oud in here. It smells like there could be real oud in here. It's a beast. You know, the patchouli, the amber, the Guardian balsam that they use just projects. This thing lasted on paper for over a week. I had to just throw the paper out eventually. I could still smell it. And it is a good fragrance, but this decant is shite. These brands like Xerjoff should not be using these. Like, I couldn't get the damn thing to spray. You know, like, it didn't work. And that's very disappointing when you're spending $300 on a fragrance or $250 or whatever it is. When you're a niche brand like that, you should have samples that represent that. Okay, back to the house of Areej Doré. This is a fragrance called Atlantic Ambergris. And again, I did an entire video on this too. Look at the color of this juice, man. Oh, I love it. And I'm sure Russian Adam isn't over there using food coloring. This is... There is a ton of cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg. It has that, you know, lots of nutmeg in here to me. You know, when you get like apple cider or like eggnog in the winter, and I don't know if some of you add extra nutmeg on top, it gives you that, you know, like you put too much nutmeg in the eggnog and then took a sip and the nutmeg really hits you. But it's got beautiful jasmine, white champaca, and real Irish white ambergris. But in the base, he's used Nagarmotha oil to mix with the resins, the Apopanax and the Labdanum. One of the best true ambergris fragrances I've ever smelled. Okay, next we're going to go to a sample Rich Mitch sent me about a year ago, it feels like. I haven't done a video on it yet. I will soon, because Rich Mitch really stands behind this scent. He really likes it. It's called Carner Cuirs. Carner Cuirs. And the House of Carniers, I've never smelled anything from before. I don't own anything from the house. This will be a first. Sonia Constant is the perfumer, but it's cumin and saffron with sandalwood and cedar, patchouli, violet, tonka bean, cistus absolute, musk, oud, Indian Cypriol. Again, you see the combo with the oud, amber, and leather. And so there's leather in the base and there's Cypriol, which can give off this kind of leathery vibe sometimes too. And cistus gives off a leathery vibe. I'm guessing from the note listing I would like this, but I'll do a video on it very soon. Carner Cuirs. Next is from the House of Andy Tower, another one which I have not done a video on that I need to, from Rich Mitch, sample sent to me, and it is called Lonesome Rider. So it's basically the follow-up to Lone Star Memories, and Andy Tower did Lonesome Rider in 2016. Unfortunately, this is discontinued, sadly. I wish I would have grabbed a bottle before it got discontinued, but it's clove, orris root, leather, castoreum, cedarwood, sandalwood, ambergris, and Cypriol. Probably, I haven't had a chance to wear this yet, but it's probably that Andy Tower patented DNA, that Tower-Odd ambergris that he created. But I'll do a video on that very soon. And then we've got a Prin fragrance, which I did review a Prin fragrance recently. I actually created a playlist of all of the brands that I did videos on. So you can just go click on Prin or Zerjoff or Roja or Guerlain, whoever you want, and just find the videos I've done on it. but I haven't done one on this one yet, but I will. This was sent to me by my friend Lee from Fragnanimous. If you're ever looking for indie fragrance houses like Prin, like Areej Doré, like Bortnikov, like Meleg, go to his website, fragnanimous.com, if he will ship to you. I know he ships in the US and Canada. I don't know if he ships across the pond, but he is very trustworthy, and honestly, that's where I got all my Bortnikovs from. I really trust him, and he is very fair. And but this is a fragrance whose note listing reads like I would really like. I forget which one I reviewed from I think I reviewed one called Anthamara, and I really didn't like that. It reminded me a bit of that Ensar EO2 slash, you know, there was this Russian Atom fragrance Areej Doré did that I really didn't care for. It was called Oud Picante. It was very spicy. And Anthamara gave me vibes of that. I didn't enjoy. I don't like that DNA for some reason, but this seems more like it's my style. It's called Oqachol. Oqachol. And Oqachol came out this year. It's a brand new fragrance. It's supposed to be ambergris, real Siberian deer musk with all kind of notes. You know, there's yuzu, sandalwood, violet, fenugreek, coffee, may rose, spikenard, nutmeg, cumin, cacao, oak moss, birch tar, cade, juniper, tobacco, and Nagarmotha, and chamomile, and fucus absolute, mimosa, orange blossom, orris butter, blackcurrant, osmanthus, all kind of stuff. So it sounds like a fragrance I would really like. Nagarmotha oil is part of the giant concoction. So that's one I will do a video on very soon. I have a lot of early impressions to do, as you can tell. Okay, let's go to some Rojas. So I've got the Discovery set. Roja uses a lot of Cypriol. So I didn't pick everything, I don't think, but I did pick some. And the first one is Elysium. So this is Elysium, which came out in 2017, which is basically Roja's take on a Bleu de Chanel slash Aventus. You know, that's what it reminds me of. Bleu de Chanel and Aventus. Lots of lavender, lots of citruses in the top. It's very mass appealing, fresh, citrusy, grapefruit. The grapefruit will remind you of Bleu de Chanel. The blackcurrant and apple will remind you of Aventus. I don't think there's pineapple, but it reminds me of a blend of the two. In the base, he used galbanum, pink pepper, cypriol, vetiver, vanilla, labdanum, leather, ambergris, and musk. But it's a very fresh, citrusy fragrance. But you can see it has a base to it. It is very nice. It's a nice fragrance. At this point in my journey, I don't know if I want nice, though. That's the thing. Those mass-appealing blue scents don't do it for me anymore. But if you've never smelled Elysium, I'll do a video on it. I haven't done one yet, but it is nice. Another one is Sweetie Oud. And Sweetie Oud is Roja's take on like a gourmand oud, a sweet gourmand oud. And this fragrance is sweet. It smells like you're smelling like a powder puff at a bakery or something, you know. It's lots of sweet notes with cistus and oud and cypriol in the base. And then finally from this sample set, we've got United Arab Emirates, another one that I plan on doing a video on very soon. And this is like a floral oriental fragrance, United Arab Emirates. And it is... United Arab Emirates is Roja's typical DNA. There's some Artemisia at the top with cistus labdanum, that floral heart, patented Roja floral heart he's known for. Jasmine from grass, May rose, geranium. And then the base is Cypriol, oud, cumin, oak moss, pink pepper, frankincense, labdanum. Very similar base, you'll notice, with his Middle Eastern fragrances. But I do like this. I don't think I would buy a bottle, but I like it. Okay. And I'll do a video on it soon. Next, we're going to go to some of the 7.5 ml Discovery atomizers. So first is the exclusive Parfum from Roja. And this I did a full review on, or a video on. And you can see I put a pretty good sized dent in the exclusive Parfum. This is a fragrance that kind of shocked me a little bit, because when I first smelled it, I thought of a fragrance that's coming up at the very end. Actually, my favorite Cypriol fragrance. And I thought he copied it. But actually, this came first. Oh, the exclusive Parfum came before the one that I'm going to show you. And actually, I'm sorry. That's not correct. I was thinking of a different Frederic Malle. The one that it reminds me of came out in 2019. It's called The Moon. And so The Moon came out after Oh, the exclusive Parfum. And it's very similar. I think I like The Moon better. There's something in here that puts me off a little bit. I wouldn't buy a bottle of this because I have The Moon. I think The Moon is a superior fragrance. There's no Cypriol in The Moon, but there is Cypriol in Oh, the exclusive Parfum, but it's discontinued. It's hard to find. I'd go with The Moon if you can get it for a good price, but I know it's an expensive fragrance. Okay, next we're going to go to the Parfum de la Nuit series. There's 3 of them. People that you meet of the night is the idea with this. All 3 have Cypriol. The first is PDLN 1, Parfum de la Nuit 1. And Parfum de la Nuit 1 is resinous and spicy. It's got labdanum, of course, with saffron, Cypriol, patchouli, vanilla, civet, tolu balsam, styrax, clove, labdanum, stuff like that. It's a good fragrance. I like it. I'm not going to buy a bottle, but I do enjoy it. I wish the civet was amped up more, but I will do a video on Parfum de la Nuit number 1 one day. One day. I have a lot of videos to do, as you can see. Number 2, Parfum de la Nuit number 2 is also on the list, of course. Very similar setup. They've added some citruses in the top. Number 1 only has bergamot. This has lemon and orange added. Keeps the cistus in the heart. Keeps the Cypriol and patchouli and labdanum and all that good stuff in the base. Adds cacao. And keeps the Cypriol, of course, in the base. And adds rum. So this makes it almost like number 2 is more like a boozy, woody, spicy. Instead of number 1, where it's more resinous, I would say. Number 2 keeps some of the resins, but makes it more woody feeling and boozy. Again, it's good. I'm not saying it's not good, but to me at this point, it's just not full bottle worthy. The one that I did decide to buy, though, recently is this one. It is number 3. PDLN number 3, which this came from my good friend DL Qualia. He gave me a very, very fair price on this, especially for a completely full bottle. And PDLN number 3 is basically woody and smoky. It's got this cumin that really reminds me of Eau de Hermes for some reason. I don't know why. The cumin in the top just screams Eau de Hermes, but then it dries into something completely different. There's an addition of May Rose and Artemisia with ambergris, Emirates, benzoin. I mentioned the cumin, guardium balsam, labdanum, juniper, gaiac wood, and of course the Cypriol. I liked it enough to get a bottle, but only because I got it at such a great price. I don't think I would have sprung for it if I didn't get such a great deal on it. And then we're going to go to some Spirit of Dubai fragrances. And again, this is a list that's going to be heavily made up of Middle Eastern fragrances. And so because of the fact that Cypriol just really lends itself to that kind of creation. And so the first one we're going to talk about is a fragrance called Turath. And again, I did entire videos on this entire sample set from Spirit of Dubai. So you can just go pull them up and you'll find them there on my channel. Go to Spirit of Dubai, has its own playlist, and you can watch them. So Turath is one that I liked. I don't think I would buy a bottle of it, but I did enjoy it. It's basically like a fruity oriental. There's a million notes in here. One of the million notes is Cypriol, though. It's a piece of the puzzle, but there's so much going on. Cumin, a ton of fruits, pineapple, apple, strawberry, peach, blackcurrant, coconut, stuff like that, with dried fruits, coffee, tolu balsam, leather, labdanum, musk. I mean, it's got everything. The note listing is insane. Oud, Nagarmotha oil, Ambergris, all kind of stuff. It is a good fragrance, but I didn't enjoy it if I was going to buy one from this line, which I don't think I will. But if I was, it wouldn't be that one. They did another one called Areej. And Aoud came out in 2015. This is almost like a spicy, fresh take. I did a video on this as well. Lots of pepper and citruses. It's like this spicy, fresh take, but of course it's got that Middle Eastern base of oud, Cypriol, but it's a fresher oud. I liked it, did not love it. Definitely would be very low on my full bottle list if I was going to get one from Spirit of Dubai. The one that I did enjoy, and the one that, actually there's a couple more. One is Fahama. Fahama is woody oriental with rose. It was good. I enjoyed it. Actually, the person who sent me this picked this one as one of the ones to buy full bottle. But this one was a little bit too sweet for me. It had a lot of sweetness. But I remember the dry down had some things I liked, like castoreum and civet and leather. And the Cypriol was in the heart here. It's good. I like Eugene's fragrance for castoreum and rose. Way better, though. La Dalle Exquise is superior to me. And then the one that I would buy a full bottle of, this is the only one that's really threatening full bottle purchase, and it's Oud. It's just Dubai. It's called Dubai Oud. I think it's probably one of their best, and I have enough to give it a full wear, so I'll wear it as my scent of the day again soon. But it's spicy, it's woody, it's got all kind of notes too. But really what you get is oud, Cypriol, frankincense, and this leathery tobacco oak moss thing in the base. But lots of Indian oud, fecal, barnyard Indian oud, which I do enjoy. I love that style. Yeah, I really like it. Cypriol in the top here. So you get Cypriol with frankincense. Beautiful. One of the better mainstream ouds, if you will. If you enjoy something like Frederick Mall's The Night, I would urge you to test out Spirit of Dubai's oud. It's very good, but it is expensive, unfortunately. I wish it were cheaper. Okay, next we are going to go on to some full bottles. I'm going to talk about a bottle that I don't think I've talked about yet on my channel. And it is a clone, okay? I've had this for years. I haven't talked about it because I don't like to talk about clones very much, but I was playing with this the other day, testing it against what it was supposed to, you know, clone basically. And it's damn good. This is a damn good clone. And with prices of perfume, I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to talk about it. It's an Alexandria fragrance, and it's called Zion. And Zion is supposed to smell like a fragrance that we talked about earlier on this channel, on this video, called Elysium by Roja. And in fact, when I tested them, Zion was so damn close for me that if I was, you know, as much as I enjoyed Elysium, even if I wanted to buy a bottle, I wouldn't. I would just buy another bottle of this because this was like 40 bucks for 30 mils. It's an X-Tray. As you can see, I don't wear it like as my scent of the day, but I'll spray it on before bed. And it's got this blackcurrant, apple, vanilla, you know, vibe. It's got a very similar vibe to grapefruit in the opening. Very similar vibe to Elysium for me. Good enough that I thought it was worth mentioning, and it has Cypriol. So there you go. A clone being brought up on my channel, but it's damn good. Again, with perfume prices where they are, I think it's only fair to mention something like that. Okay, we're going to go to a zoologist. Only full bottle in my collection, it's Moth. This is an artistic masterpiece. Whether you like the fragrance or not, you have to give it props for what it does. Because it opens up peppery, cumin, spicy, with saffron. And then it goes into this floral that almost reminds me of like an old school Guerlain. Heliotrope, iris, jasmine, rose, and then it transitions again. There's like 4 transitions in this scent. Oud, Nagarmotha, smoke, honey, ambergris, patchouli, gaiac wood. It's just something else. I mean, for someone that likes to break a fragrance down, to peel back the layers, this fragrance is going to take me forever to review because I don't think I could do it justice. Okay, now here's a fragrance where real quick before we go on to another full bottle, I missed one decant that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it's a Roja. It's called Majestic Oud. I did a full review on this, not just an initial impression. I called it a full review. And if you want to smell Cypriol, this is one to put a star by, but I will warn you that it's very floral. So you got to fight through that osmanthus. There's a big osmanthus note in here with jasmine and May rose, but the base has lots of saffron and Cypriol and Ambrette and stuff like that. So that's Majestic Oud. Discontinued, unfortunately. Well, it's not that great of a fragrance anyways, but it is discontinued. 2018 it came out. Okay, now let's go on to the full bottle we were going to go to next, which is a discontinued Tom Ford, and it's called For Men. Okay, so Tom Ford For Men, marketed by Estee Lauder. Yves César and Pascal Guérin came up with this, and this is a very fresh, you know, if you like fragrances like Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme from the 90s with that freshness mixed with tobacco, here it's that freshness mixed with ginger, tobacco, grapefruit blossoms, excuse me, with oak moss, leatherwood, cypriol, vetiver, cedar, patchouli, and amber. Amazing fragrance for the summer. I love wearing this stuff in the heat, even though it has that woody spiciness. You know, that the base has this warmth to it. Like I mentioned, Cypriol will give. It's very light, very ethereal. You know, it wears like a very thin layer on your skin. Amazing perfume. Discontinued. Now here's one that shocked me, and I'm going off of Parfumo. I'm going to include it. I don't know if there's Cypriol in here, but it says there is. It's Eau Duelle. So Eau Duelle, I always thought by Diptyque were two notes, frankincense and vanilla. Apparently there's no frankincense in here. It's bourbon vanilla with calamus, pink pepper, and Cypriol. And Cypriol can give off this smoky frankincense vibe sometimes. So that does make sense. But I always thought the two dueling notes were incense and vanilla. Okay, Parfum De Marley is next, and they're up with Herod. Now, Herod is Olivier Pechot's creation: cinnamon, pepperwood, osmanthus, tobacco, frankincense, cistus labdanum, lots of vanilla in the base. That's why this fragrance is for me. It's too sweet. But there's Cypriol and musk, vetiver, and patchouli in the base. And it is a tobacco fragrance that if I could just isolate that tobacco and pull it out and create a fragrance around it, the tobacco osmanthus combo is beautiful. But the sweetness is hard to get over. It's very, very sweet. Okay, next is a new addition to my collection, and it's Sundowner by Andy Tower. And this is Tobacco Absolute with Cypriol, cacao, cinnamon, that Andy Tower Ambergris I talked about, DNA, and vanilla. And it's a beautiful fall winter fragrance. I did a video on it very recently. Go check that out. Okay, we're down to the final two. The two big dogs for Cypriol for me. One is Amouage Journeyman. This is one of the Cypriol king fragrances. If you have your little notepad and you're putting a star next to the heavy Cypriol fragrances I mentioned, like Amouage Opus 6, Opus 13, Silver Oud, this is another one to put it next to. This is a perfect example of Cypriol. With Sichuan pepper, neroli, tobacco, leather, ambroxan, and tonka. And man, this is so good. This is a serious scent is the way I described it yesterday. Very serious. And finally, the number one Cypriol scent according to me. You can put a big asterisk next to this one. This is Cypriol in a bottle. Perfect Cypriol scent. It's created by Dominique Ropion for Frederic Malle, and it's called Promise. Promise is a beast of a fragrance. Spice, oh God, just smelling it from the atomizer. Oh, I can't wait to wear that again soon. It's got this apple note in the opening that's so perfectly placed. You know, many Middle Eastern fragrances have this fruit, right? And you see like raspberry with the moon, and I mentioned Oud, the exclusive by Roja, has this raspberry note. Here they used apple, and apple with Bulgarian rose, castoreum, labdanum, huge amount of ambroxan, patchouli, and Cypriol. And the Cypriol just takes over. I mean, it just completely takes over, and it does everything we talked about. It's earthy, it's woody, it's smoky, it's leathery, it's warm, and it's scratchy. And I freaking love it. I love that scratchiness. It's just, sometimes you just want something like that. You just want something that's just claws out. Oh man, this stuff touched a jacket of mine one day, and it literally stayed on the jacket for months. I could smell it on my jacket for months. That jacket is now my Promise jacket. So anyways, thanks for watching. I appreciate everyone's support, attention, feedback. Love seeing your faces in the comments. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Seriously, every single one of you is important to me. I love our little community that we've made here. I love that we've created something so special that it's pissing off other, people in the community. But don't listen to any of that. That's all outside noise to me. I just love doing these videos for you guys. I love the art of perfumery. I love sharing, my take on it with you. And discovering stuff like this OR Black. Oh, I mean, discovering stuff like this is why I love this fragrance game, because there's so much to discover and learn about. And I hope you've kind of marked a couple things down. I hope you've, I hope you have found a couple gems that you want to maybe search out or at least sniff. So thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers, and I'll see you again tomorrow with another video. Bye, guys.